Hi, I'm Mrs. Peterson, and I'm here to give you some very quick practical advice on how to practice your speech at home before you have to give it at school. Now, one of the most important things, I'm sure, when you're watching somebody speak to you is that they're making eye contact. So it's critical that you practice making eye contact at home when you're rehearsing your speech. There's a couple of very simple things that you can do to help you get comfortable with this. Now, you could choose to practice your speech by giving it to a friend or a sibling. If, however, you find that a little distracting, there is another alternative. I personally like to use stuffed animals that I place around the room. It's really important when you're practicing with people or stuffed animals that you look at the very tops of the heads. This will imitate what you're going to do in the classroom. Now, the interesting thing about looking at the tops of the heads of the people in the room is that it looks like you're looking right at them. Like, take me for instance. I'm sure it looks like I'm looking right at you, when in fact, I'm looking at the tops of your heads right now. In addition to working on your eye contact, there's a couple of other things that you want to keep in mind when you're practicing for a speech, at least initially. The first is to understand, as a speaker, what kind of a speaker you might be. There are two kinds of personalities that really come into play here. One is whether you're an introvert, the other is whether you're an extrovert. And neither one is right or wrong, and we're all different. But in general, if you're a more introverted person, that means that you get your energy by being alone, which means you're not really trying to be the center of the universe all the time. So speaking loudly and having the energy in front of a class can be a challenge. And so there's a couple of things that I want you to work on when you're practicing. And that's my tip number 2, is for those introverted friends of mine who need to practice with their volume. The tip that I want to give you is that you need to practice over music at least 3 times, loud enough that you can hear yourself and get comfortable speaking loudly. Speaking loudly takes energy. You need to tell your family you're doing this, though, on purpose to do practicing so they don't think something bad is happening. So what you need to do is turn your music up really loud and do your speech over your music at least 3 times, so that you can hear yourself and get comfortable with how loud that's going to sound. Because no matter how loud it sounds to you, it'll probably be okay for us. Alright? It also does another thing. It allows you to get comfortable being as loud as you need to be so you don't get tired. It takes an enormous amount of energy and volume to project over your music. And if you get too comfortable, turn up even louder until you get used to what you need to sound like. That way when you stand in front of us, even though you think you're screaming, you'll be okay. And you can have some fun with it too, but again, the big key here is to get your energy up, to understand the kind of muscles it's going to take to speak that loud, and also make sure your family knows what you're doing ahead of time. My last tip has to do with my extroverted friends. As I mentioned, introverts get their energy by being alone. Extroverts recharge their batteries and get their energy by being with other people, which means they love to be in front of an audience. Your challenge, extroverts, is to slow down and enunciate so that we can understand you. That means that you're going to practice your speech as well 3 times, but you're going to practice it slowly, and you're going to enunciate every word to the point where you want to scream. But it's really important for you to understand that while you have great energy, that energy often translates into speed, which means that you tend to talk more quickly and you enunciate your words less clearly, making it more difficult, even with a high energy level, for your audience to understand you. And I think it's probably clear that that's what I struggle with as a speaker more than anything, when my energy gets high and I get excited about a topic. So you want to practice your speech 3 times slowly. That also allows you to get your energy focused, and it allows your muscles to get used to what it's going to take for you to enunciate, because that's also an energy drain. And so we want to make sure that you are just as successful as our introverted friends, but you're going to practice a little bit differently. Then once you do that and you get comfortable enunciating, then you can take some time to practice with your regular energy level and see how that goes. The last thing I want to give you some advice on is don't over practice. Don't get bored with your topic. Practice till you're comfortable and then stop. You need to use your note cards or overheads or visual aids, that's great, and that will come. But don't get bored with your speech, because as soon as you're bored, I guarantee your audience will be bored. And have fun with it, because we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say.